Hello everyone. Okay, so worksheet 5.3, the last question in the practice section is question 3. So let's read the question carefully. Aiden scored Y marks for his mathematics test. Ben scored half of what Aiden scored. Aiden scored 20 marks more than Aiden. Okay. So let's write down this information in a simpler form. So Aiden scored Y marks. So Aiden's is Y. Ben scored half of what Aiden scored, which means that it's half of the Y. And Caden scored 20 more marks than Aiden. So which means that Caden's score is actually Y plus 20 more marks than Aiden, right? Okay, and then they tell us that if the average mark of the three students is 40, form an equation in terms of Y. Okay, they want us to form an equation in terms of Y and find Aiden's marks for the mathematics test. Okay, Aiden's marks is simply this, guys. Y. So basically, this question is just trying to tell us that they want us to solve for Y. Find Y. Okay, so we know we're going to have to form an equation first. How to form an equation? The clue is in this sentence. If the average mark of the three students is 40, okay, average mark. If suppose I tell you Aiden's score is actually 10, Ben's is half of Aiden's, which means 10 divided by 2 will be 5. And then Caden's score is 20 more marks, which means it's 10 plus 20, which is 30. And then they tell us that the average of these three. How do we find the average of these three marks? What do we have to do to find the average? What's the working? 10 plus 5 plus 30, right? We take the sum of the three numbers and then we divide it by 3. Okay, so that's how we find average, guys. Okay, so let's do exactly what we did over here to find the average, but this time instead of using the numbers, we are going to use y, half y, and y plus 20. So let's go. Okay, so let's take the three boys' marks, y plus half y plus y plus 20, and like what we did over here, right? To find the average, after we sum it up, we are going to divide it by 3. Okay, and then the good news is they tell us that the average mark is actually 40, right? Which means that this is the average in terms of the working, and the average mark is actually 40, so which means this is actually supposed to be equal to 40. Yay! So we have actually formed an equation. Okay, now our challenge will be to make this equation simpler so that we can solve it. Okay, so let's do this one step at a time. Okay, so now let's look at the equation. Focus on this equation. Okay, first and foremost, there is this obstacle here of dividing by 3. This whole expression is divided by 3. Let's get rid of this divide by 3. What's the opposite of divide, guys? Opposite of divide is multiply, right? Times, right? So we're gonna times by exactly the same number here. Okay, to get rid of the denominator 3. So let's do that. So I'll take the one at the top, divide by 3, right? So to get rid of the divide by 3, I times 3. And maintain equality. You must do exactly the same to both sides. So times 3 as well on the right side. Okay, so the good news is when I times 3, when I multiply by 3, I can actually cancel the 3 here and we have only 1, which means that there's no more denominator. We just have this. Okay, alright, equals to 40 times 3, which is 120. Okay, now let's look at this. How to make it simpler still. Now we have 1y and we have plus half y and plus another 1y. So what is 1 plus half plus 1? 1 plus half 1y plus half of y plus 1y. So 1 plus half plus 1, isn't it? 1 plus 1 is 2 plus another half will be 2 and a half y plus 20 equals to 120. Yay! Looks simpler already, guys. Okay, so if you're wondering how I get this 2 and a half, ladies and gentlemen, take your calculator, Okay, just key in for me the coefficient 1 plus this coefficient half plus the other coefficient here is 1. 1 plus half plus 1, the coefficients of all the y's. Isn't it 2.5? Okay, so that's how I get the 2.5y plus 20 equals 220. Yay, almost there, guys. So I want to get rid of this plus 20. How do I get rid of plus 20? Plus 20, what's the opposite of plus? Minus, right? So we minus exactly the same number. So minus 20 on the left, minus 20 on the right. Okay, we're almost there. So plus 20 minus 20 will be 0. So I'm left with only 2.5y on the left. And on the right side is 120 minus 20 is 100. Yay, we're close, we're close. It's getting simpler. Once it gets simpler, that means you're close to the solution. Now, I do not want 2.5y, guys. I just want the y, one y only. So how to get rid of this 2.5? This is 2.5 times y. 2.5 times y. So how to get rid of the 2.5? What's opposite of times? Divide, right? 2.5 times y. So divide. Divide by what, guys? Divide by exactly the number in front of the y, this number. So 2.5. Okay? Then I also must divide by 2.5 on the other side. Okay? So if I divide, the good news is 2.5 divided by 2.5, it's gone. It's just 1y. Now what is 10 divided by 2.5? Use your calculator, guys. What is 100? Sorry, not 10. 100 divided by 2.5 or 2.5. The answer is 40. And we have solved the equation. Yay! Congratulations. So over here, the answer will be 40, which is what they want us to find. Come back to the question, check again. What did they ask us? Find Aiden's mark, which is y, right? Aiden's marks is y over here. Okay. So we have found Aiden's marks, which is y equals to 40. Okay. All right. That's all. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen, for your attention.